How do you do? Many seek an escape from the troubles of daily life, but the need for refuge is seldom stronger than in times of war. The couple in our story risked death in their attempt to flee a war-torn country, only to find they were still hounded by their bitterest enemy. But when a fellow refugee showed them the way, the truth, and the life, they finally found peace and freedom when their hearts and minds and lives were unshackled.
It's hopeless, George. The dogs will track us down.
Shh! Lay low. We can't give up now, Mary. Not after all we've gone through to get here. Huh. They're going the other way.
Oh, I guess they didn't smell us. But what if they come back?
We can't take that chance. We have to run far away from here.
This is Unshackled, true life stories dramatized and produced in Chicago by Pacific Garden Mission. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. And for more than 136 years, Chicago's homeless have sought refuge at the old lighthouse. No matter what their struggles, all visitors are welcome to nourishing meals, fresh clothing, and a safe, clean place to sleep. Resident guests even receive medical care, all thanks to financial gifts from our generous friends and listeners. Through the mission's Bread of Life outreach program, volunteers and staff travel to Chicago's poorest neighborhoods to distribute wholesome bread and other foodstuffs along with household goods. They also share the gospel, giving all recipients a chance to fill their souls with Christ's love. And Jesus said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. Now for broadcast around the earth, here is program number 3338 in the series Unshackled, the program that makes you face yourself and think. During World War II and the surrounding years, countless people found themselves displaced by revolution and persecution. Millions were on the move, risking death to cross heavily armed borders. That's the way it was for the couple in our story, a man and his wife whose marriage had been made so bitter by selfishness that it's a wonder they were willing to travel together, even to escape death. Though the story took place a long time ago, the sin that plagued them is still alive and working today. Listen now as we bring you the true story of George and Mary Ozdenek from the classic files of Unshackled.
Now that so many years have passed, it is finally safe to tell my story. I'm telling it now because I want other people to see how it is possible to run from death and yet still be dead. I didn't understand that back then, but I do now. Years later, my wife Mary and I read something that says it very clearly. Mary, do you remember those words?
Of course, George. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
That's it. And that's the way it was with us, back in 1948 in Czechoslovakia. My father was a well-to-do farmer, and thanks to him I was able to attend an agricultural high school and college. After I graduated, the city hired me to do agricultural work. Then the war erupted and put an end to my comfortable life. I was hired to do underground work against the Germans in Bratislava. In 1944, there was an uprising against the German troops occupying Slovakia. The Germans crushed the opposition, executing rebels left and right and leaving much of my state in ruins. I was forced into hiding, first retreating into the mountains and later making my way home, where my family concealed me until the end of the war. Then our zone became occupied by Russian forces. I came out of hiding, went into politics, and was elected Circuit Secretary of the Democratic Party. That position gave me a certain degree of influence in my city, which is why a young bicycle messenger turned to me when he discovered some shocking news.
Sir, I know you don't believe me, but it's true.
5 girls shouting for help from an open window.
Yes, sir. Local girls kidnapped by Russian troops. One of them is a neighbor of ours. She recognized me when I rode by on my bicycle and she called out to me. She called me by my name, John.
Never mind what your name is. Oh, what's the girl's name?
Her name's Mary. I know her family. They live just...
Never mind all that. And she said you were to tell me that the Russians are holding them locked in a room?
Yes, sir. She said they were afraid the Russians would abuse them. She said they threatened to destroy her honor. I'm not sure what that means.
Come with me. We'll see what can be done. Because of my position, I was able to arrange for the immediate release of the 5 girls. The Russian soldiers unlocked the room as soon as they were ordered to do so. And that's when I saw Mary for the first time.
Excuse me, sir. Are you the one who saved us?
Well, I don't think your situation was too serious.
Oh, but it was. You don't know. When the Russians took us, they said we'd be serving them as housekeepers. But after they locked us up, they said such terrible things.
My dear, you're such a pretty girl. You shouldn't be surprised when men say flirtatious things.
Oh, these things were more than flirtatious. They were frightening.
Well, you don't have to worry about them anymore. You're free.
Thanks to you.
Thanks to that young man and his bicycle. Now then, may I escort you home?
Oh, yes, of course. And again, thank you very much.
This is your place? You live here?
Yes, and thank you very much for taking me home.
It was my pleasure. Say, by the way, I guess you get this a lot, but have you ever thought about going into acting?
That's an odd question. No.
I hope you'll think about it. Some of my acquaintances are putting on a historical play in honor of the return of our southern territory, the lands that the Germans took from us to give to Hungary.
Oh, that's interesting.
It just so happens that I am the one directing the play. And I'm also playing the lead. I've been looking for a beautiful girl to play the leading lady.
And you think that I could do something like that?
Why not? You'd be perfect for the part. The play was a great success. How could it be otherwise when it celebrated something we were all so proud of? The scenes between Mary and me impressed everyone in town. Our chemistry was unmistakable. Everyone knew it was more than just acting, and they were right. Soon I proposed and we were married in July of 1945.
I've heard people say that marriages are made in heaven, but that certainly wasn't the case for ours. We often fought during the first 3 years. Sometimes our quarrels became violent, and other times we didn't speak to each other at all. I remember one night George and I went to a party, and I felt that he spent too much time dancing with other women. He hardly paid any attention to me. When we got home, George was very tired, and I was furious.
Could you stop nagging me? I did nothing to cause you to react this way. I'm tired and sleepy.
You didn't look so sleepy at that party.
Yeah, well, the party's over now, so forget it. Good night.
I wish I could forget it, but how can I after watching you flirt with every woman in the room with no regard for me? George, are you trying to fall asleep while I'm talking to you?
Trying, yes. Succeeding, no.
Oh! Open your eyes, George.
Huh?
Open your eyes and take a look at death.
Mary, put that gun away. What if it's loaded?
So what if it is?
Easy, Mary. Put it down. Carefully.
No, I have something to do first.
Mary, please.
I mean it. I have never been so serious.
Then you give me no choice.
George, let go of me. Take your hands off me.
Drop it. Do you hear me? Drop the gun. That was the nightmare we called marriage. Mary got pregnant, and we had a baby boy, but the altercations continued. A communist revolution erupted in 1948 while I was on vacation. A red militia searched for me at my office, but left after speaking to my assistant. When I learned of their search, I went into hiding. Eventually, I took Mary and our son to her mother's home in the country. I told her I'd return in 3 weeks, but I was really planning to make my escape alone. The first problem was to learn how the frontiers were guarded and where I could cross the border most easily. I met a friend in Prague and carefully led our conversation around the subject of refugees and their escape methods.
Yes, it is true. Many people are trying to get out of the country. Very foolish, of course.
Extremely foolish, yes, I agree.
Yes, well, as I was saying, some are getting away successfully, but only at certain points.
Oh, such as?
Well, not at the point opposite the capital. Not at any point where the border lies closest to Prague.
But at other points.
Some are succeeding. Of course, it's very dangerous. Many are shot dead every day. It's a shame they should stay here, as we do.
Even though the man was my friend, I couldn't trust him. I spent several days studying the frontier and trying to find a safe place to cross. After finding a promising spot, I lay on a hill overlooking the river and stayed there for a night and a day. Then, when night fell again, I prepared to swim to freedom. Suddenly, feelings of love for Mary came over me. Until then, I hadn't given a thought about her, but now I was overcome by a deep and irresistible feeling of love and concern for Mary and our son. What God has joined together, let not man put asunder. I felt that she was a part of me. Like the Bible says, a man shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Then I went back to the farm where Mary's family lived.
But George, if you were planning to leave without me, why are you here now telling me about it?
I had no choice. I came back because we belong together. I want you to go with me.
And what about our son?
He can't come with us. For a 2-year-old child, it just wouldn't be possible. But we can't stay here, or he'll be an orphan after the Reds find us. He'll be safest staying here with your mother.
And you really want me to go with you?
Would I have come back all this way if I didn't? A few days later, Mary and I began our journey. We were traveling mostly by rail and without the required papers.
I think the next stop's Marienbad. Do we get off?
We must. It's as close to the frontier as we can get without papers. We'll stay a few days and try to figure out the best way across. But when the time comes, we'll have to walk. Come on, the train's stopping.
Identification cards, please. Take out your identification cards.
They're checking IDs. Can we step out of line?
No, that would draw attention to us. We just have to stay in line and hope for a break.
Show your identification cards, please. Baba, what is that in that large backpack of yours? Comrade, over here. We must examine this woman's luggage.
Here's no chance. Mary, follow me.
Risking death and struggling with marital strife, George and Mary still had hope for a better life in a new land. We'll find out what happens to them in just a moment. Now, though, here's Pacific Garden Mission's president, Phil Kwiatkowski.
Thanks, Timothy. Homelessness has many faces. The couple in our story left their old home to seek refuge elsewhere. Today, people struggle with alcohol, drugs, abusive relationships, and economic problems that leave them on the streets. Every story is different, but at Pacific Garden Mission, all our visitors are treated with compassion and given an equal chance to get back on their feet. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him will I trust. One of our overnight guests joined the Bible program and after graduation joined our staff. He already earned his Ph.D. in computer science and worked with a research and development company. But when the economic slump prevailed, his position was eliminated. He eventually lost hope and his home.